The wind whispered through the rustling leaves as I navigated the desolate roads that cut through the heart of Oklahoma's sprawling reservations. My name is Sarah Mitchell, an investigative journalist with a fascination for the unexplained, and I was about to delve into the chilling tales of Native American ghosts that haunted these lands. The journey began with an anonymous letter sent to my newspaper detailing the mysterious happenings on the reservations. The locals spoke in hushed tones about spectral apparitions, ancient curses, and the restless spirits of those who had once called these lands home. Determined to uncover the truth, I found myself driving through the vast landscapes that held the secrets of centuries. My first stop was the Cheyenne and Arapaho Indian Reservation, a place steeped in history and haunted by the shadows of the past. As I entered the reservation, the air became thick with an unspoken heaviness, and the sense of being watched lingered like a ghostly presence. I sought out an elder named Joseph Blackhorse, rumored to be the keeper of the ancient stories that held the key to the spectral mysteries. Joseph, a weathered man with eyes that held the weight of generations, welcomed me into his humble home. Around a crackling fire, he began to weave tales of the spirits that roamed the reservation, their stories as old as time itself. He spoke of Indian souls who, unable to find peace, lingered between worlds, manifesting as shadows in the moonlit night. One story, in particular, sent shivers down my spine. It was the legend of the Weeping Woman, a ghostly figure said to wander the riverbanks, mourning the loss of her children. Locals spoke of hearing her wails in the dead of night, a mournful symphony that echoed through the darkness. Some claimed to have glimpsed her ethereal form, a spectral silhouette draped in tattered clothing. Determined to experience the phenomenon firsthand, I ventured to the riverbanks as the moon cast an eerie glow upon the water. The air was thick with an oppressive stillness, broken only by the distant hoot of an owl. As I stood in the darkness, the temperature dropped, and a mournful wail pierced the silence. The sound seemed to come from the very earth itself, a haunting lament that sent a chill down my spine. I strained my eyes against the darkness, and for a fleeting moment, I saw the outline of a figure on the riverbank. The Weeping Woman, her form ethereal and translucent, stood with her head bowed in sorrow. Fear gripped me, but an overwhelming sense of empathy washed over as I realized the depth of her grief. In that moment, the wails ceased, and the apparition faded into the night. Shaken, but determined to uncover more, I continued my journey to the Cherokee Nation, where the whispers of ancient curses echoed through the dense forests. Locals spoke of the Trail of Tears, a dark chapter in history where the Cherokee people were forcibly removed from their ancestral lands, leading to the death and suffering of thousands. In the heart of the reservation, I met with Maggie Eaglefeather, a wise woman with a connection to the spiritual realm. She shared stories of vengeful spirits, seeking justice for the atrocities committed against their ancestors. According to Maggie, the cries of the lost souls could be heard in the wind that rustled through the leaves, and their apparitions appeared to those who dared to tread on sacred ground. As I explored the depths of the ancient forests, I felt an unseen presence walking beside me. The air crackled with energy, and the temperature fluctuated as if the spirits themselves were guiding me through the labyrinth of trees. Shadows danced on the periphery of my vision, and the distant sounds of chanting echoed through the stillness. In a clearing, I stumbled upon a forgotten cemetery, the the gravestones weathered and worn. The air grew heavy with sorrow, and an apparition materialized before me. It was a Cherokee elder, his eyes filled with both sadness and anger. He spoke in a language that transcended time, recounting the pain of the Trail of Tears and the longing for justice. Overwhelmed by the encounter, I felt compelled to share the untold stories of the Cherokee spirits. The injustices of the past lingered in the air, and the spirits sought acknowledgement and remembrance. As I left the reservation, the weight of their stories pressed upon my heart, and the wind carried their voices into the night. The final leg of my journey brought me to the Osage Nation, where tales of mystical apparitions and ancient rituals permeated the air. The locals spoke of the Tall Man, a shadowy figure said to roam the hills, protecting the sacred lands from those who sought to exploit them. The Tall Man was believed to be the guardian spirit of the Osage people, invoked in times of dire need. As I hiked through the rugged terrain, a sense of reverence filled the air. The wind whispered through the tall grass, and the sun cast long shadows on the hills. The stories of the Tall Man seemed to come to life as I felt an unseen presence watching over me. A shape, tall and indistinct, moved on the periphery of my vision, disappearing whenever I turned to look. In the heart of the hills, I stumbled upon a sacred site marked by weathered stones and offerings left by the Osage people. The air hummed with a mystical energy, and the temperature dropped as if the spirits themselves were acknowledging my presence. As I stood in the presence of ancient rituals and unseen guardians, a deep sense of respect and humility washed over me. My journey through the reservations of Oklahoma had peeled back the layers of reality, revealing a world where the past and present coexisted. The spirits of Native American ancestors lingered, their stories etched into the very fabric of the land. As I left the reservations behind, the wind carried with it the echoes of the untold tales, a haunting reminder that the spirits of the past would forever inhabit the vast landscapes of Oklahoma. The Native American ghosts, with their ancient wisdom and lingering sorrows, had shared their stories with me, and I carried their voices with me as I ventured back into the world of the living.